Hello and welcome to Number by Color. My name is Todd, and today I want to do another one of these gameplay slash review style videos where I give my thoughts about the game, but I also kind of show you what the game actually is, because I feel like this is, or at least the games that I've done so far, are games where you might be interested in them, but you're not 100% sure on what the game actually is, so you don't know whether or not you should get it. And another game in this case, I feel, is a game called Oninaki. This is the third game by developer Tokyo RPG Factory. They are, I guess, a sort of subsidiary of Square-Enix. They make these sort of retro-styled, inspired RPG games. The first two were I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere. They were definitely 16-bit inspired turn-based RPGs. Oninaki is their third. This is more of an action RPG style game. I'm going to show you a little bit about what this game is and how the mechanics work to get you interested in the game itself. Because I feel like while I was interested automatically because it's Tokyo RPG Factory, action RPG, not everybody will be excited because it's sort of nebulous as to what exactly it is, at least from the previews that I've seen. And I'm not a huge trailer person, but, you know. So I am in, I believe I'm in Chapter 2. Let me check real quick. So I'm in Chapter 2, Part 3. I'm probably toward the end of Chapter 2. I did not mean to do that. So I'm probably near the end of Chapter 2, and I don't really want to spoil a lot of this game for you, so I'm not going to show you any of the story elements. I will spoil a little bit of the gameplay, because that's what this whole series is about. I want to show you how this game works, and, you know, how all the systems work together to make it actually a pretty good RPG, in my opinion. I really like this game. It's a lot of fun. It's a little bit hack and slash. It's a little bit Souls-like. I really hesitate to say that because it's not really Souls-like, but there is a little bit of strategy involved, and it's pretty cool. So the basics of this game are this: as you can see, there's a little demon, they're called, floating next to me as I'm walking along the field. I have a sword that I can use. Square is the main attack. Hopefully this button pressing doesn't get too loud in the microphone, but so you can press square to attack. It's, you know, just kind of your basic stuff. I guess I'm a little bit strong. I wouldn't say I'm overpowered, but I guess I'm kind of strong for where I am. So, you know, this is just like the basic thing. And then here are a bunch of enemies. You have, as you can see down on the bottom left, there are 4 different skills that you can equip at a time. You learn more for each demon that you have. So right now I'm going to press R2 and do Tranquil Mind. And that's this attack. That's kind of cool. I'm going to do Setting Firebird on the triangle button. And that's sort of like a backup, like strike that, like a projectile kind of strike. Now let me do Sundering Flash, because this is one I kind of wanted to do in the first place. So you can see there's like some variety in the kind of attacks that you can do. My X button for this particular demon does a dash, which is good for dodging enemy attacks, especially these guys, because they do... It looks like they're either trying to paralyze me or poison me. So it's good for me to be able to dodge them. And, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's a little bit like Secret of Mana in a way, where it's not super difficult, but it is difficult if you want it to be. There's actually 3 difficulties. There is an easy, a normal, and a hard. I'm playing on normal right now. If you play on hard, or the harder difficulty... Oh, look, I was paralyzed, so I can't move as fast now. If you play on the harder difficulty, you get better drops from enemies. Like, when items drop, you get better items, or maybe there's a higher drop rate on the higher difficulty. But it's pretty cool. As I mentioned before, that little person next to me is a demon. In this game, you sort of pair up with demons. It's a little bit Xenoblade Chronicles in that sense, where you get a couple of different demons, they pair up with you, and the fun thing is, at least in my opinion, every demon that you pair up with, when you switch to them, they use a different weapon to attack. In that sense, it's really like Xenoblade Chronicles. So right now I have I can't remember the name. I have Aisha she possessed. She's assigned to me, but she's the current one who I am using. So I have Aisha. I'm also using Izana, Gavad, and Treza. I'm gonna I'm going to only use a couple of these because even I have some newer ones that I've gotten in my playthrough that I haven't really used yet. But in order to switch, you use the right analog stick, hold it down, and now I've switched to this one who uses a scythe to attack. And you can see that this person's attacks are a little bit slower, but they're also a little bit stronger. And I walk a little bit slower too. And when I press X for this person, or cross rather, I do this little kind of warp dash, and that increases my speed every time I do that. I just got paralyzed again. Now I'm going to use some of this person's special abilities. There's that little shock. I'm going to use Grace real quick. That's like I attack, and then the demon does a little attack too. So it's kind of like that. It's pretty straightforward and basic. You can see in the top right, you might have missed it, I got something called a Scythe Stone. You can see in the bottom right, under the name Izana, I have 2 Scythe Stones, and that is going to bring me to this little section about demon abilities. Every demon has their own abilities. Every demon has their own skill tree, which is exciting for me. If you know me, you know I love this kind of thing in RPGs. Every demon has their own skill tree. Now, this demon's skill tree is almost completely full. I only have a handful of skills left to learn. But as you can see, I have 2 sword stones. And if I go over to these unlearned skills, I need 3 sword stones for this one. I need 3 for this one. I need 3 for most of the ones that I have left. So I can't learn anything from her. I might be able to learn something of hers in her skill tree. And as you can see, it's not only a different skill tree, but the layout is different too, and the skills are different. So for this one, you know, the skills triggered while manifested gain a manifestation effect. There's a lot of these kinds of skills. You do get actual skills for attacking. Some of these are more passive skills, like this one is a chance to recover HP when attacks hit. And this applies whenever Izana is in the party, not just when you are, you know, using her to attack. So that's kind of a cool thing. So I have 2 stones that I can use, and these 2 skills take only 1 stone. So I'm going to do this one, which means shifting to her takes less time. So when I want to change to her to attack with her, when I'm on the field and fighting, usually it takes a few seconds. But now if I learn the skill, it will take less time and it will happen faster. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn the skill. That's going to give me the skill. And I wish that, you know, I'm going to do one more. I guess I'll just do this one. I need all of them eventually anyway. I will do this one. Learn this skill Myriad. And I'm hoping this does what I want it to. It didn't. But if you can look up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that there are 4 little throwing star-looking icons in that rectangle, that diamond little box. That is sort of... there are 5 actually. I said 4, but there are 5. There are 5, and that's sort of like their level. Not really like level per se, but they're sort of, I don't know what you would call it. But as you can see with Aisha, she has 7 in there. That means I've learned a lot of her skills. Every time you sort of level up in this sense, it adds another little throwing star, and their attacks get stronger overall. So as you can see, there's actually a pretty good amount of different demons that you can use to attack, and they all have different weapons. You've seen Aisha with the sword. You've seen Izana with the scythe. There is this one with a giant axe. Zav has a lance that you use. Dia is one of my favorites. She uses a combination crossbow and like a pistol, I think. Something like that. And it's really cool. This person has sort of like a gun shield. Lucica has fists that you can fight with. Treza has sort of like whip type. Kratos, you know, chain sword weapons. And this one is Zephyr, is a little, you know, kind of dog style demon that you actually ride, and Zephyr is the one who actually attacks with his claws and his teeth. So it's actually pretty cool. So you're going along, you're going through this game, and you can, let me change to somebody else. Change to Treza, and now I can use these sort of a little bit more of a ranged attack with the whips. And his cross or X button is a jump. And if I jump and attack, I can sort of attack downward at an enemy. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to use one of his special abilities. He just attacks with a bunch of chains. So it's kind of like a chill game. It also kind of reminds me of Ys a little bit, if you played Ys. It's not too difficult. It is a little bit repetitive in the sense that you're doing a lot of the same thing, but I feel like in this game, since you have so many different demons and so many combinations of demons... Oh, look, Warframe cannot download. Since you have so many different combinations of demons, it's just really fun to experiment with them, and I've actually not played with this character yet. He seems a little bit slower. That's kind of cool. He's a little bit slower. Oh, he has sort of like a defense for his X or cross button. And, okay, that's cool. I'm going to have to really get used to this guy because it's definitely a different play style. And as you can see, I'm like pretty close to dying, so I'm going to use something to heal myself. And here's something else I want to show you. So in this game, you are what's known as a watcher. You can travel to sort of the other side, like the... It's not really like the afterlife kind of thing. You kind of like flip-flop between the... like the world of the dead, kind of. And you help people who have died move on so that they can be reincarnated. Maybe there's like some kind of grief from their living family member that is holding them in kind of a purgatory state where they cannot move on fully. You are a person who helps people be able to deal with death and move on in the afterlife. So with that being said, you can switch freely back and forth. If you look over at the left side of the screen, there's L2 will make you cross the veil, and that's what sort of switches everything to like the afterlife sort of thing. But you cannot do it normally because it's dark and you can't see the enemies. But what helps you or allows you to do this is if you defeat enemies that have these little sort of miasma kind of around them. These are stronger enemies. They're usually bigger. They require more damage to take down. A lot of times they will spawn other enemies, and I'm actually getting myself paralyzed here kind of on purpose because I'm just trying to finish this thing. But you can see they take a little bit more damage. Like I said, sometimes they'll spawn more enemies to kind of bombard you and ambush you and kind of gang up on you so that you can't take them down. And it's cool. And like I said, it's not super difficult. You do have, if you look under at the upper left, underneath my health, you can see I have 7 out of 7 healing items. This is just, you have 7 healing items. You can collect more if you defeat enemies, but you, instead of just having a stockpile of potions, you only have about 7 healing items that you can use until you run out. And if you run out, then you might die. So as you can see, I absorbed whatever that thing is, and now I can cross the veil in this particular section of the level. And it's sort of like a reset version of all the enemies that were around here. So I can defeat all the enemies in sort of the light world, and then go to this sort of dark world and kind of defeat more enemies again. And it's a good way to... first of all, level up. In the dark world, you find treasure chests as well, so it's a good way to get treasures if you go to the dark world. And you can see it's a little bit different, and sometimes you have to travel to the dark world in order to progress the story, so it's not just completely pointless. As you might have noticed, I got another sword stone. It's a good way to get more stones, and I'll kind of explain that now. I don't think I have yet. The way to get sword stones or, you know, spear stones or axe stones is to fight enemies. So you got to just keep fighting enemies and you'll get stones, and then you can use them on your skill tree and get more skills. And let's see what there is here. Gain more attack the longer you haven't taken damage. Chance to instantly kill when attack hits. So you can see some of these higher level ones require even more than 3. So I think I'm just going to do... I'm going to do the one where I gain more attack the longer I do not take damage. I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn that skill. And now I've got it. And now she's better. She's one of my strongest at the moment. She's the one that you start with. So it's kind of like I kind of had that connection with her. I'm going to show you a little bit more now. Not in the specific attack gameplay, but here you can see you can assign skills. Right now, I only have 4 skills with Aisha. So all 4 of them are assigned to the the buttons. You can get more skills like we saw in the skill tree. You can assign them in any way that you want. You can change these around if you want to. You can assign all of them to you can assign only all of them, or only one of them to all the buttons. So, you know, it's really up to you. It doesn't really change much, obviously, but it's kind of a nice touch. For equipment, so your person, Kagachi, does not have any equipment. You cannot download. You cannot buy equipment or accessories. He just has his stats that he has. The equipment belongs to the demons that you use to attack. So as you fight, you will as you defeat enemies, they drop weapons and little things that you can use to power up the weapons, and you know, over time you'll get stronger weapons from enemies. As you can see, some of these have a little glowing blue icon next to them. That means they have a shade stone attached to them. Shade stones give you some kind of parameter adjustment. This one is soulstone drop, so that means soulstones have a higher rate of dropping. This one is attack. That means, I guess, the attack is increased. This one does not have anything on it currently. So each demon has their own set of stones, their own set of weapons, and it's pretty cool. Now, there is something else I'm not going to show, but I'll tell you about. You can, if you notice, under the left side, under the name of the weapons, so you could see Bowmane's on the left side. You can see uncommon, 43 attack power, upgrade. There's an upgrade meter. There's a person in the game where you can go to. You sort of use other weapons that you don't want anymore. As you can see, I have multiple copies of the same weapons. You can use the multiple copies that you don't want anymore as sort of a currency to upgrade other weapons. I don't know that I have any fully upgraded, but here are some that I started with this little arrow you can see. So I've started them, and as you can see here, if you look over to the right side, this Galad has 31 attack power, and this one only has 21 because I've started upgrading this one. Now, I'm the kind of person who wants sort of a fully upgraded version of each weapon. You don't have to do that at all. You can just use the current strongest one and then continue on in that way, and that's fine. So yeah, each demon has their own set of skills, their own weapons, their own set of upgrade stones, and it's just a lot of fun. It really reminds me of Ys, like I said, and Xenoblade Chronicles in a way, because you kind of have different like blades, I guess you could call it. And you know, their attacks are different based on which one you have, and it's just it's a lot of fun. It's not super difficult, but the bosses can be challenging. You need to kind of strategize for sure on how to get through them. The main fighting is not really all that difficult. Again, I'm going to compare it a little bit to Secret of Mana, probably mostly because it's a Square-Enix game, but it kind of reminds me of that, where it's not super difficult, but it's still a lot of fun to play because you have different skills and abilities that you can use that just make it really interesting, and it changes it up enough, for me at least, where it doesn't feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, even though I kind of am. And, you know, a lot of action RPGs are sort of like that, but I feel like this one is really good. It's really fun. The story is pretty interesting. I don't want to go too much into it, but like I said, you are someone who helps the deceased kind of complete their journey to the afterlife and all the kinds of things that entails. Yeah, so I think that's mostly it. I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm missing that I wanted specifically to discuss. So we talked about stats. We talked about the demons. There is this feature of memories where you can go to the story and kind of read up about the story. You can look at different characters and, you know, what's going on with them. You have these different locations. Glossary, Fallen, there are like it's sort of like a bestiary kind of a thing. There are something called Lost Souls, where these are like sort of side quests where you find people who need help outside of the main storyline, and you can just do whatever you want. And as you can see, there's sort of like a pretty good variety of what you can do, or at least the amount of side quests that you can help people with. So it's pretty fun. It's not super difficult, like I said. I will show you real quick, though. Oh, I do not know what just happened. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen that before. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to spoil that for you. I'm sure I'll see it again when I play again. But when you come to these little save places, you can change your party. You can change which demons are possessed in which character. You can not look up, but you can sort of converse with the demons that you have. You can look at their memories. That's one aspect of the game. You're trying to unlock their memories so that they can remember who they were. That's an interesting thing. And so far, all of them have been pretty interesting. All their stories are different. Like I said, you can change the difficulty. There's a casual, a normal. I've been playing mostly on normal. It's good. It's a good difficulty. I've gotten a game over a handful of times. Usually it's because I'm just trying to rush through, or I'm using a lower level demon on a boss when I shouldn't be. But like I said, there's a maniac difficulty where you get higher item drop rates and better item drops, and the enemies are tougher. So there's a lot here to like, I think. I really enjoyed this game. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes Ys or who liked Valkyria Chronicles, specifically for the way the battle system worked as far as different blades affecting the weapon that the driver used. I think that's really cool. If you like this art style, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Breath of the Wild. And of course, now that I'm looking at here, so let's see. So it kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild a little bit. Sort of like a paint book number, not a paint book number, but like just sort of like a painting aesthetic to it. I like it a lot. If you are familiar with Tokyo RPG Factory games, you'll notice that in each game we get progressively better art for the characters. I think in the first game, I Am Setsuna, and even Lost Sphere, I don't think they had hands really. They were like tiny blocks. Now we have full hands. The character models look more proportional, more human-like. So I think it has a really cool art style. I really enjoy it a lot. And it's just a lot of fun to play. It's really cool little action RPG. So I definitely think you should check it out. I believe it's somewhere between 30 and 40 bucks. I don't think it's more than that. I would look, but I don't have that capability right now. But I definitely would highly recommend this game. I think you would enjoy it if you like action RPGs, like I said, Ys or Xenoblade Chronicles, or even like Secret of Mana, things like that. I think it's a lot of fun. Sorry, I just cracked my knuckles into the microphone. But yeah, so let me know if you played this game. Let me know if you liked it in the comments. If you don't like it, let me know why. I think it's cool. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but I think anybody who likes this style of game would enjoy this. It doesn't have too much, but I think it has enough to keep you interested. And the systems that it does have, I think, really satisfy the things that I like in RPGs, at least. The different, skill trees, the different leveling systems, all that. I really enjoy it. So definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. I will be back again, hopefully soon, with another review video. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this style of review video. I know it's a little bit different, like I've said from my previous review videos, but this is another game where I thought it would be better if I could show you the actual gameplay rather than just tell you what the game is and how it works, because I feel like there is a little bit of something lost when I'm just showing you footage that I've recorded, and me being able to play through and kind of explain as I'm playing it. I feel like that's maybe a little bit more helpful. If it's not, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I thought it would be interesting, and I don't see this too much, so hopefully this is something that is a little bit more unique than just a strict voiceover review. But either way, let me know what you think, and please subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on social media. I'm always chatting about something. Yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.